In fact, let's move on and shift our focus to some COVID-related stories. Now, only 11 out of 28 states and 2 out of 8 union territories have responded to Centre's query on oxygen-linked deaths which occurred during the grisly second wave of COVID-19. 17 states and 6 union territories have missed the Centre's August 13 deadline, which was yesterday, to submit the data on COVID deaths due to oxygen shortage. In fact, Punjab, Orissa, Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Nagaland, Assam, Sikkim, Tripura, Jharkhand, Himachal Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh, as well as the union territories of Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir have submitted the details to the centre, out of which 2 states, Punjab and Andhra Pradesh, have accepted deaths owing to shortage of oxygen during the second wave. Remember, centre had sought oxygen deaths data after massive row over their claim that none of the states informed them about deaths due to oxygen shortage. To give more details on this, I am now being joined by Ayushman Kumar. Ayushman, good morning. Before we get into the details as to which are the states who have filed this required data and who haven't, just take us through the details. What has been the biggest takeaway from the data that have been submitted by these 13 states and UTs?
Well, one is the state of Andhra Pradesh, where some deaths have been accepted. The particular number has not been given. And the state of Punjab, which put the deaths in suspected category, the Chief Minister of Punjab has also accepted that some people died. Apart from that, none of the other 11 states and union territories accepted that there were any deaths which took place due to lack of oxygen. But only 2 states, Punjab and Andhra Pradesh, have been the ones who have accepted that yes, there was a shortage of oxygen, and because of shortage of oxygen, there was the deaths took place in some of the hospitals.
Ayushman, stay with us. Some more aspects of this big story coming in. Meanwhile, Delhi government has said that it will be extremely difficult to ascertain if there were any oxygen-related deaths in Delhi during the second wave of COVID-19 without a probe. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has written to the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia to approve the Committee of Health Experts constituted by the Delhi government to investigate the oxygen-linked deaths. The probe committee set up by the Delhi government was previously rejected by the LG. Remember, Delhi government had initially claimed that centre did not seek any data on oxygen-linked deaths, to which Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia responded by sharing a screenshot of the query sent to Delhi government on July 26th. To give more details on this, I am still with Ayushman. So Ayushman, if I'm not wrong, the same response and the same demand of a probe panel was actually raised by Delhi government when this entire controversy broke out over oxygen deaths. Now they have reiterated the demand. But the surprising fact and the outstanding fact, of course, is that none of the other states are demanding a probe panel to ascertain oxygen-related deaths. So why Delhi?
Yes, in fact, a very, very important point here is that other states have already submitted the details. At least 12 and 13 of them have done, and 2 of them have accepted without a probe panel. Here, the Delhi government feels that somewhere to ascertain the exact number of committee is needed. But on the contrary, they have submitted to the High Court that 21 people who died in Jaipur Golden Hospital died because of respiratory failure, and against which the families of Jaipur Golden Hospitals have gone to the Delhi High Court. They have already a case going on in front of the judiciary. It is very important to highlight here that the committee which they are demanding was rejected by the LG, but at the same time, Delhi government went on to ascertain that these deaths were not because of the lack of oxygen, but because of the respiratory failure. So it would be important to see what the Delhi government has to say when the government asks that on deaths due to lack of oxygen. Here the Delhi government once again mentions that they want a committee to probe the matter properly, and that's why they have written the letter to the health minister. It will be important to see whether Mansukh Mandavia intervenes here and allows the formation of the committee or not. But here in Delhi, it has been said that unless a committee is formed, impartially it won't be known as to how many people died because of lack of oxygen. And that's why Delhi government has yet not submitted the data to the national government.
Right, Ayushman, thank you for sharing all those details.